So I went back home, took a shower, and then went to my computer and went live. I did the stream, and next day that video went viral. One idea brought my channel in a month from 30k to 60k.
My guest today is special. He went from 0 to 200,000 followers on Twitter, then he did it again. This time on YouTube when he has 170,000 subscribers. All of that while making multiple 5 figures a month. You can get lucky once, but doing it twice on two completely different platforms, that's not luck. That's why I wanted to bring Florin today so he could share his secret. In this conversation, he breaks down which platform he would choose if he had to start from zero, his exact 0 to 100k followers framework, how he made $50,000 in 1 month, his most profitable revenue stream, and his #1 rule that made everything possible. So if you're overthinking your content strategy, this episode is for you. So you have almost 200,000 followers on X. I say that because today you have 199, but I'm sure when I will publish the video, you will hit that. You have 172,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you make multiple 5 figures a month from it. So my first question is, what is one thing that you know about growing an audience that will always work no matter what?
Yeah, I think the one thing, it sounds cliche, but the one thing is consistency. You have to show up. You have to show up daily, weekly, and you have to post. And over time, it will pay off. For me, it took 6.5 years since I started creating content. And it wasn't a chore, like I enjoyed it. And yeah, it worked the way it did so far.
So consistency. I want to start by I think probably the thing that interests the most people who will click on this video and also interests me is the step-by-step process you will use if you have to start from scratch again today and go from 0 to 100k followers, because you did it twice on Twitter and on YouTube, and I think that's pretty impressive because it's two platforms that are entirely different. So yeah, I want to know the step-by-step process to go from 0 to 100k followers and monetize it. So if you had to start again, which platform would you start with first?
Yeah, so these are good questions. About the platform, I think I would start with the platform that I'm most familiar with. When I started, to be honest, I didn't have a plan. I'm not even sure now I have a plan. Like, I know better what I'm doing now compared to 6 years ago, but I never really sat down to create, for example, a content system or have content pillars. This is something I'm starting to doing now. And I even posted today on X that for next year, I want to hire a content team, because doing content properly, first of all, you have to know the target audience. You have to know who you're addressing, right? And you have to know the pain points they're having. And to be honest, I didn't know any of that in the beginning. What I did and what worked for me was to just be myself. And I was very active on X. I was engaging with the community. I was part of the community. And slowly over time, that grew my audience. And then when I started posting on YouTube, I sort of had an audience on X that gave me the initial boost. I think, if I remember correctly, I had about 10,000 followers, or like around that 10,000 followers on Twitter when I started posting on YouTube. And then what I did basically was to sort of document my YouTube journey on X. And people like that. People like the transparency. People like to support my journey. And then they went on YouTube and subscribed. So I got the first 1,000 subscribers in a month, which usually is not happening. Like those of you who are listening, it's okay. It might take a long time until you find you basically need the one break, one video that goes well, one post that goes well. You need something that will boost you in the beginning. And I'm not sure if there is like a formula to guarantee this in the beginning. But what I would do, as I said in the beginning, it will be consistency. Figuring out like a cadence of posting and making videos that you can keep for a long time. And also noticing some kind of a pattern. Like, for example, if you post videos, let's say you post every week, something at some point will give you a hint that, okay, this video worked better than the previous one. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, why is that, right? And then double down on the things that work. And another thing that could work, I honestly haven't done that as much, but this is what I would do if I would start on another platform, for example, on Instagram. I've been planning to grow there as well for a while, but I haven't been very consistent. But what I would do is, again, you have to know the niche you're into, and you have to know what people are interested in that niche, so you know what kind of content to create. And one of the ways you can do that is basically researching what other creators in that niche are posting. Figure out, like, for example, when it comes to videos, like the hook on the video, like what kind of problems they're solving in the videos, and try to replicate it, but with your own style. Because, I mean, in the beginning you can replicate it just to test it, but I think to really grow and create a powerful personal brand over time, you need to have some kind of unique angle on it. You can't just like copy someone and then grow that way, like an so how to say, like an honest audience, like someone who, like a really strong audience. I don't think you can do that by just copying people, but by adding on top of it your own spin, your own personality, your own like strengths, right? As a person, because everyone is unique. If you add that on top of what's already working, I think that's how you find success on a platform starting from scratch.
So you will start by the platform you prefer, kind of, if it's X or YouTube or even like TikTok or Instagram. Find your niche, find someone to copy the hook at the beginning, and then add your authenticity, add your own twists on top of that.
Yep.
How can I know what niche is made for me, or what niche I should choose in 2026, for example?
That comes down to personal preference. Like, you can make a list of the things and the topics you're interested in. That's the way I would start. For example, when I started out, it was about programming. I was doing coding tutorials. I was talking about my life as a developer, and slowly I built my audience around that. Later down the road, I kind of transitioned from just creating developer content to going into indie hacking and talking about content creation, stuff like that, because I evolved as a person. I learned new things. I discovered things that I enjoy. So I transitioned my content as well. But in the beginning is just about figuring out, okay, what do I like about? What do I like? What am I good at? What are there some topics that I know more than maybe the average person in that topic, and that's how I would start.
Interesting. And when you start, so you try to iterate the maximum you can, try to find your way into that, try to find what works. Do you remember for you what clicked when you actually found the kind of content that people liked?
I don't remember necessarily what was my breakout moment on X, for example. I just remember that I was very active and I was engaging with the community. If I'm not mistaken, I had some people who were big back then who mentioned my post, and that gave me a boost. So again, this kind of goes down to luck. Like, at some point you need some kind of luck. And by luck, I mean things that you can't control. You can't control whether someone who has, 100,000 followers reposts your piece of content. You can't really control that. But if you put yourself out there, you try to create good piece of content, you try to bring value to your audience, then at some point, I think it will pay off. Like at some point, something will happen, and then you're basically the right person at the right time sort of situation.
It remember me, Dickie Bush. He was talking about the fact that he started to post every day for 30 days, and he was about to give up, and then Naval retweet his post, and then it went viral, and he started to get a lot of followers. And that's, you can call it luck, but that's also you putting the effort, like publishing content every single day until this luck happens. So it sum up exactly what you said. It's a consistency plus waiting to be at the good place at the good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I remember one thing that happened to me was I was always into these kind of challenges. 30 days, 30 pro apps, or actually I did 100 days, 100 apps. So I built one small app every day for 100 days. Of course, it wasn't like big apps. Back then we didn't have AI, so I was manually coding all of these. It was fun games or fun like sliders or whatever in the coding were, like web development, stuff like that. And I remember one day I got an email from Brad Traversy, who right now has like over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He was very big back then as well. He was probably the biggest channel back then in the programming space. And I was amazed. And he was like, hey, I've seen the projects you're doing. Would you like to collab on a video together? And I was like, mind blown. And that kicked off like a collaboration, and yeah, it helped a lot. As you said in the example you gave, like you put in the reps every day, and at some point something will happen eventually. It's not guaranteed. We can't guarantee anything, but it will. Basically how I'm seeing it is that every piece of content, be it a post or a video or whatever, is like a lottery ticket. You don't know when you're going to win, but the more you publish, the more chances you have to have the winning ticket one day.
Amazing. Now I want to learn more about you and your own journey. When did you start taking content creation seriously?
Yeah, so I started posting on X. I think it was March 2019. Back then I had a full-time job as a React developer, and I wanted to do something more. Like I felt like just doing a job. I mean, we were hundreds of developers in the company, hundreds of developers on that project alone. I think the company had thousands of developers in multiple countries. And I felt like nobody really knew what I was doing. Like, okay, sure, the team, like the 10 people that were working on that part of the project knew me and knew that I was responsible in that part of the project. But like the end user who was using the website we were working on didn't know who I was. And I felt like that's not, I don't know, it wasn't fulfilling enough. So I sat down to write articles. I was writing blog posts about how to solve different coding challenges, how to build this and that with React and stuff like that. And I started publishing my posts on X. And one day I noticed that, hey, one of my posts went sort of viral. It had tens of thousands of views. I was like, whoa. And what was nice about it is that at the end of the article, it was my name. So people knew that, hey, Florin Pop wrote that article. And for me, it was like something like from another world. I don't know. It felt amazing to be known for something, you know? But of course, this also comes down to my personality. I want to be social. I want people to know what I'm doing. It's not for everyone. I agree that. But yeah, that's when it kind of clicked in my head. And I told my wife, okay, at the end of the year, I'm going to quit my job and go all into this content creation. I was writing articles, and at some point companies started to reach out to pay for me to write articles for them or to mention them in my articles. And So this was sort of I started in March. By May or June happened this sort of transition where I started to get paid, and I was like, okay, I want to quit. And I quit my job in July. I had to sort of negotiate with my wife, because I initially promised that I'm going to stay by the end of the year, but then I quit like 6 months earlier. And that's when it started. That's when I went all in my content journey, building journey. It was, as I said in the beginning, I didn't knew much about what I was doing. I didn't have like a big plan. I just knew that, hey, there is money to be made in this. I know that I'm not going to make as much money as from my job. We had 6 months of savings, so that helped. But I knew that this is what I want to do. I want to go on my own. I want to be responsible for everything that I'm doing and just take control over my time and work on the projects I want to work on.
And for someone who is watching, to give like an estimation, how long did it take for you to go from like 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10K, and 10K to 100K, approximately?
Yeah, so I don't remember the first 1,000, to be honest. I think I had 300 followers on X. Like back then it was Twitter, but I don't know where they come from. I had the account I think I had it from 2013. I think I posted some random things over the years, but nothing serious. So basically, when I started being active in the community, I had like 300 followers, I think. And I don't know when the 1,000 happened, but I know that 10,000 happened at the end of the year. It was December, something like that. And I know I had this goal, okay, I'll get to 10,000 followers on X and then I don't care anymore. And that's basically what happened. I just got to 10,000 and then I don't remember other goals, to be honest, like 20K, 30K, 50K, I don't know. Probably I documented it somewhere on my profile. And I don't even know the 100K when it happened. Probably 2 years ago, I don't know. But I'm close to 200K now, and that I'll remember.
Man, that's insane. I feel like for me, as I was mainly in French, I touched the ceiling pretty fast because like in France, let's say in the make money area, having 30K is like almost the maximum you can get.
Okay.
And like I touched the ceiling like pretty fast, and I always thought like, what if I started in English earlier? Like, how fast would I go to 100K? And I feel like it's probably 100K in English would be probably like 20K or like 30K in French. So yeah, I wanted to know this answer actually.
Number of followers, it's not as important anymore as it used to be, because platforms got way smarter and they sort of judge every piece of post as its own standalone. I mean, of course, you have a boost if you have an audience, right? You have someone who you have the trust built. So it's more likely people who see your post, just from the fact that you are the one posting it, they might engage with it. But you can still go viral with having a small account, and we see this happening more and more these days. So the platforms got very smart at figuring things out and helping smaller creators, basically.
Yeah, it's true. It's more like a vanity thing now. Like I feel like on YouTube and on X is the same. You can get viral if you have basically 0 followers, subscribers.
Yes,
which is cool for someone who starts. Less cool for someone who already have a big audience. Just a quick question, by the way. Did it impact you a lot on YouTube mainly when they changed the algorithm and it went from pushing the big account to pushing everyone?
To be honest, I don't have the answer to that because I haven't been very active on YouTube recently. So on YouTube, I started in 2020 with the goal to get to 100,000 subscribers. I had no idea how I'm going to do that. And I did what I was doing on X as well. I posted a lot. I did in January 31 days, 31 videos plus streams. I think in about 4 months, I did over 200 pieces of content, including videos and streams. And that gave me a big boost. I grew to like 30k subscribers, and then I took like a bit of a break, and then in September I had this one idea that went really well and doubled my channel to 60,000. And then again I took a longer break, haven't posted consistently, because sort of in my mind I realized that it's just a matter of time to hit 100,000 subscribers. It wasn't unrealistic anymore. It was just a matter of time. And indeed, like in March the next year, I hit 100,000 subscribers. And then I couldn't say I stopped posting, but I posted way less. I wasn't as active. And I don't know, honestly, how much that impacted. I mean, I know the fact that I didn't post impacted my growth. I don't know how the new algorithms shift impacted it. So yeah, that's...
You said something interesting and I want to know the answer. You were at 30K and you got one ID that brought you to 60K. What was that ID?
Yeah, so I went out running. I still remember the day. I probably had something more important to do, because that's what usually I realize that's when the big ideas come to my mind. I think I was writing the ebook. I promised my audience on X that I'm going to write an ebook, and then I was very stressed about it, and I went out on a run, and my mind was like, hey, this is one idea you could try. And the idea was to build 10 projects in 10 hours and do it all live on Twitch. So I went back home, took a shower, and then went to my computer and went live. And I started to basically do the research for the apps right there during the stream. But I didn't tell anyone what I'm going to do. I just started to think, okay, I have 10 hours. All right, this app is viable in an hour. Okay, let's do a drawing app. Let's do a receipt app. Let's do this and that. I started to make the list, and with the functionalities, I thought that, okay, I'm able to build in an hour. Remember, again, we didn't have AI back then. It's a very important mention. So then when I finished the list with the 10 apps, I just said publicly, okay, for the next 10 hours, I'm going to be here and I'm going to build 10 apps in 10 hours. And I also documented the journey on X. So whenever I was finishing an app, I was posting it on X. And I did the stream. I finished the stream. Everything went well. And next day, I sort of edited, like I think very roughly, like not fancy edits, and I uploaded the video. I put it up on YouTube, and that video went viral. I think right now has 2.3 million views or something like that. And just that one video, one idea, brought my channel in a month from 30K to 60K.
Yep. So what I got from it is that you need to run to get the ID.
Yeah, I mean, in my case. And you also like need a much more important, stressful task to pressure you. And then you just say, no, screw that. I'm going to do something completely different. And yeah, that's what worked for me.
You're from Romania, right?
Yes.
How does the fact that you're not English native impact your content creation? Because I got this comment on X a few days ago. I just said, yeah, I would love to, do what Greg Hasenberg did, for example, because he has like 500K subscribers now. And someone commented, it will be hard for you with your French accent, but I hope you will do it. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't really care. It's not something I think about a lot. I know I will get better at this. But how did it impact you?
I guess it was a bit weird in the beginning, but to be honest, I've been using English for a long time. I remember, I think I was 16 or so when I was playing this online game on Facebook, and it was something with dragons, and you had to build like your home base and stuff like that, and you had an alliance. And inside the alliance, there were a bunch of American guys there. And I still remember that I was trying to talk with them, like we were messaging on Facebook, but I didn't know much. So what I was doing, I was copying the words from Romanian, putting them in Google Translate, and putting them back. And back then, Google Translate wasn't the best, so I had to like sort of puzzle things together. But over time, that helped me a lot to like learn English. And one day I was discussing with this guy, it was called Jeff. He basically was the one who introduced me to web development, by the way, later down the road. But yeah, we were discussing, and he sent me a podcast, an American podcast, and I was shocked to realize that I understood the podcast. Was like, whoa, really? It was the first time in my life that I didn't have to like use Google Translate. I was just listening to the podcast and I started to understand it. So that was the first time I realized that. And then slowly, as I was posting on X later down the road, I was reading in English. I was correcting subtitles because here in Romania, whenever you watch a movie, it's in English, but it has Romanian subtitles, and I was correcting the subtitles. And once I started making YouTube videos, so I was talking every day in front of camera, it got better and better and better over time. I still have accent, I hear it sometimes, but it's much better than when it was at the beginning. So I guess it's, again, about putting in the practice. And for me, in my case, like even now, whenever I write anything, I have an idea, I have like whatever I'm doing, I'm even thinking in English. Whenever I'm sending a voice message, it's in English. So everything I do, it's in English. The only drawback, so to say, is that I live in Romania, so all my friends, like my family, are Romanian, so I talk with them in Romanian. But other than that, everything I'm doing, I do in English. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I switched everything in English because of that. Like my life is basically in English. I speak English with my girlfriend every single day. I live in Bali. All my friends are either from Australia or just like I speak English with everyone. So it makes just sense to speak English. But the answer is like you have 170,000 subscribers on YouTube. So you can make it even if you're not English native, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen this. So having an accent gives you like your own edge. I know that especially Americans like people who have a bit of an accent. What I've noticed over the years is that other non-native English speakers find it like a bit odd when someone doesn't speak like fluent English, but like native English speakers don't care. They like hearing accents. I had this guy, this was a long time ago. He wanted me to make a coding course for his platform. And we had a call on Skype, it was back then. And he was like, okay, let's make a course. You can teach like how to build stuff. But I have one request, he told me. Could you like work a bit on your accent? And that was, I mean, I don't know my reaction right then, but like after the call, I was like, what the earth, man? You have a worse accent than I have. Like he was, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure which country he was from, Dutch or something, but like his accent was worse than mine. Like, what? So then I realized that like like Native Americans, like they don't, native English speakers, they don't care about accents, but other people might. So yeah, it's, it can be a benefit for sure.
What is the biggest mistake you made growing an audience?
So I would say one personal and one like sort of business oriented. I think the personal mistake was getting involved personally into like whenever I was receiving hate comments or people were disagreeing with me, I was always taking personally, and it was really affecting me. I still remember in the beginning I had someone, and you know how people on like X are like, they form like a mob mentality and they start to attack you. So whatever you say, they get it out of context and it just pile up on you. And I had one experience like that, and it really affected me. I still remember for weeks I was affected by that. And at the end of the day, I did nothing wrong. Like, I mean, I didn't offend anyone. I was just supporting a friend of mine. I said that, hey, this guy is not the way you think it is. I know him personally, so I can vouch he's not that way. But no, I know that he is, and you're supporting him, and you're worse than him, and you know how people are. So yeah, one thing would be to not let people on the internet affect your mental health. It's tricky, especially, I mean, I guess it depends on the type of person you are. For me, I know people who don't care at all, but for me, yeah, I was more sensible on that side. Nowadays, I just look at their profile picture and their name on X, and if I see they don't have a real name and they don't have a real profile picture, I just don't care, because like, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, why should I care about your opinion? Just go on. And yeah, 99.99% of people who put themselves out there will never drag you down. And especially if you have good intentions, like, you know that you're not trying to scam anyone, you're honest, you're transparent, like, you shouldn't care about what other people are saying. So yeah, that would be one mistake I would avoid as much as I could. And then on the professional side, like, as a content creator, I feel like I could have done a much better job at figuring out what my target audience is from the beginning. As I said, I was winging it. I was posting whatever, whenever. I never really had a plan. But I think, especially if you want to turn this into a business, right? You would go much faster if you had like a plan. If you had a content system, if you had like, you know the topics you wanted to mention. I always refer to Justin Welsh, who I really like, and also Dan Coe. They're like my inspirations, and I'm trying to go towards towards what they're doing, because they're doing it so well. But at the same time, keeping it human and transparent, right? You have to have your own angle on it. Maybe they're not as transparent as, for example, like Peter Levels, right? He just posts whatever and it works for him. But I think like a mix of both could help, especially when you don't have ideas of what to post, right? And as we discussed, you sort of need to be consistent. And if you rely 100% on posting whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, maybe one day you don't have any other ideas, you're like tired, you're burnt out. So during those periods, I think it's good to have some sort of a content system that can work even when you're not in like 100% capacity of creating content.
It's funny that you talked about Danko and Justin Welsh, because when you were talking about the process, I was exactly thinking about them. And I bought both courses, Justin Welsh and Danko. I followed the process and I didn't last long, because I feel like I'm more on your side in a way that I like to post whatever I think. And when I have a content creation process, I feel like the creativity is not there anymore. And I feel like I have a job again, because I have to post constantly. I think it's pretty hard, because when you see them, like Danko is growing exponentially, Justin Welsh the same, they are doing huge money, and it feels like this allowed them to have a lot of free time, because the process they have are actually condensed in a really short time during the day, and then they have their freedom to do whatever they want after. So yeah, I'm always in between. Should I have a process or not? And that's the perfect transition to the next question. Do you actually have a content creation process?
No, but I'm working on something. I mean, I'm much better now than I was like a few months ago, because I started to, I spent several days, like even weeks, brainstorming with ChatGPT, trying to feed him information with what I'm doing and what I want to do in the future. And I'm slowly refining the process. I even have on my desktop a content pillar. We came up, I think I worked on Tuesday on it. We came up with 6 content pillars that were a mix of what I've learned from Justin, what I've learned from Dan, and then what I'm doing personally. I'm still trying to polish it, But as you said, I think I don't want to go into sort of like a content machine sort of place where I just pump out content without, like, everything is very well thought through. And I still want to allow myself some randomness. Like if I have a random project idea, I want to document it, talk about it and stuff like that. But the main reason I want to have a content plan and a content strategy is for the periods when I'm not creative, for the periods when I'm burnt out or I want to take a break. I want to have something that still works when I'm not 100% into the game, That's the main reason I want to do something. And another reason is that this kind of figuring out the system, it forces me to get to know my audience better. It forces me to get to know myself better. It forces me to get to know what I'm good at, right? And to figure out, okay, what I'm good at, what my audience needs, all right, how I can combine the two into building a product, right? A SaaS, an ebook, a course, whatever it is, So it helps me on that side as well. So that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, now that you say that, there is something that we talked before we started to record, is your current challenge with like doing 3 workouts and now for 8 weeks,
8 weeks, yeah.
8 weeks. It's hard at the beginning. And then as we talked about, I've been there for a while now and it's almost become an obsession. I have to work out like 5 times a week minimum. If not, it's not that I don't feel good, but I feel like I didn't complete my week, but I also feel amazing when I go work out, and I feel amazing when I complete my workout because I've done what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like content creation with a process will be probably the same thing. It's hard at the beginning. It feels like a job, feels like you have to do your task every single day, but at one point it probably becomes an habit. And it's something that you actually have to complete every week, and it feels good. I hope it is. And I think I will try and I will see, but I think it's probably the same.
Yeah, I think so too. Like whenever you create a system in your life, it's much better at the end of it, right? When you implement it and you stick to it, right? As you said, with going to the gym or having a healthy diet or sleeping or pretty much everything. Once you figure out something that kind of works without you having to spend a lot of time on it, right? It just goes like naturally. That's when you see the benefits. Like you can still force it, but I think when you get in a place where it comes naturally, that's when you see the benefits in the long term.
Yeah, 100%. Now let's talk about something that we love, money. How much were you making at 10K versus 100K plus, which is, let's say now, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I was always transparent about how much money I'm making. In fact, last year I started documenting really intensively and really transparently on my website. I have a grid, the $1 million grid, and every time I make money, I just add the amount to the grid, and the grid fills up. And right now I'm at 155K, I think I achieved the last couple of days. But yeah, going back to your question. So when I hit 10,000 followers, that was in December 2019. So that's when I started, roughly that time I started YouTube. I wasn't making much. But then again, the main reason was that I wasn't really doing this for money. I was doing it mostly because I enjoyed it, I had fun, I wanted to grow an audience. Money was second or maybe even third, like, priority in my journey. So I didn't build an audience with intention to monetize it. That happened later down the road. I launched a course and an ebook 1 year from that time. So as I said, December 2019, I had 10,000 followers. Then 2020, I grew my audience on YouTube. And in December, I launched a course with Brett Traversy, which I mentioned. We collaborated on a course. And I also launched my ebook. That ebook, if you remember, that sort of pushed me to create that my viral video. I finished that ebook as well. And in that December, I think I made $30,000 in a month, which was the most amount of money I made like in a month. And up to that point, I mean, I was making some money. I don't know exactly how much. Like, I had some freelancing stuff here and there. I had some sponsorships, but I don't remember, to be honest, how much it was. I know that I didn't need to chase money necessarily. I was okay because, as I said, we also had 6 months of savings, and I was making some kind of money along the way. But in December 2020 is when, like, I transitioned sort of into, okay, I have an audience now, and now I have something to sell to the audience. Was the course and the ebook. And then I started to do all sorts of things, from building a SaaS 2 years later to sponsorships to consulting. I'm doing consulting now. And yeah, I'm trying many things to just see what I like to do and where I can bring value.
So what is the amount of money that you make today? Let's say average monthly revenue from this audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right now, since I started documenting my journey to making $1 million, I started last year in May, and now we're in November, and I made $155K. So it's roughly $10,000 per month, but with huge, like, ups and downs. For example, in February, I made $50K, and then it went down, I think, in the summer, since I was a bit burnt out. I wasn't working much. I was making 600, 700, 800K per month. So from 50K to 600, 700K dollars, not K. And now in September, I had 6 sponsorship contracts, made $45,000. So yeah, it goes up and down a lot. And the average is 10K roughly. But again, I don't feel like I'm doing the best job at monetizing things. And yeah, that's something I want to do better in 2026.
So I want to come back to that later. But first, like, what is your revenue breakdown right now? Like, you have few products, your sponsorship. Mm-hmm. What is the breakdown?
Yeah, so let me go to my grade so I can see. So out of the 155K, 60K, 62K was from my SaaS, 12K was from memberships, and 50K from selling it. Then I had 48K sponsorships, 20K my course, 10K consulting, and like random, like 10K other random things like ads and sponsorships on my grade. So yeah, I would say right now, so right at the moment we're talking right now, sponsorships is the biggest revenue source, but I also have my course that's bringing me some money, the consulting that I launched, the unlimited consulting offer, which is a fun thing, and yeah, then ads, yes, and yeah, random things.
So now I have two questions. If you had to remove everything and keep the one that makes the most profit, which one would it be?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, ideally, I would like to have my own products, my own SaaS that works great. But I can't deny the fact that sponsorships pay lots of money, especially if you're working with bigger companies, they have budgets for this, and and it's I wouldn't say it's easy money because it's not. You still have to make content, have to make good content, you have to position it correctly, but it's much easier, especially when you have an audience. It's much easier to make $10,000 from a few pieces of content than it is to grow a SaaS to $10,000 per month. So I would ideally prefer a world where I have my own products and I make money, the most amount from them. But the real world is that I have an audience and I can make a lot of money from sponsorships and also consulting. That's comes third, I would say.
So you answered my second question, which is, what do you like the most? And I think it's building a SaaS, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's because I have the most control. It's satisfying. And also consulting, I like it as well. Because, like, for example, I had 3 calls. I forgot. I had 3 calls on Tuesday. Yeah, so 2 days ago with founders, and it's so much fun to talk with those that are at the beginning of the journey or they have some problems that you went through and you can help them. It's very satisfying, especially when you see the aha moment in their eyes. They're like, oh, wow, I didn't think it that way. It's super satisfying. Yeah.
So you said before you have to do some work on monetizing. And I feel like for me, when I go on your page with the calls, I'm like, you could sell that 10 times more. It's like, it's crazy. And I will not say the price right now because maybe you will change them soon. But I think this is really something I will sell for a little bit more because you have a lot of experience to share. And I'm sure you give a lot of golden nuggets in these calls. So yeah, do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I tried this unlimited consulting idea, which I got from Daniel Vassallo. Basically, what it means that in my case, like you pay an amount. Right now it's $900 because it's Black Friday, and I was okay. Let's make it a discount. But you pay this amount, and you have access to my calendar for 3 years. And for 3 years, you can call me whenever you want, and we can talk about whatever you want. Of course, you probably don't want to call me to talk about the weather. That would be dumb. But mostly about building an audience, monetizing your products, figuring out like the right approach to go. And the idea of it is that I'm sharing what I've been doing. So I'm not like teaching you things that I never did, right? You basically have access to me, to my journey, to my experience, and we're trying to make it fit into your journey. Like, okay, have I been through where you've been going now, right? Like, if I did that, then I'm going to share your experience, and hopefully that will unlock you and go to the next stage. And yeah, it sounds a bit risky. Everyone on social media, like not everyone, but like a lot of people on social media are like, for 3 years, that's a lot of, what if someone calls you 24/7? Well, they won't, because people who pay this amount of money, they pay because they want to make the money back. So they value your time, you value their time, and for first and foremost, so they won't call you just to talk about their life and the weather and the football or whatever. They will call you whenever they have some really specific questions and they need help. And to be honest, it's been going great so far. I think I had this is the second batch that I'm doing. I did one in the spring. I made like $8,000 from 7 sales, something like that, and now I made like $3,000 from 4 sales, and yeah, it's amazing. I know I could be doing better, but I feel like my messaging is not uh, not very good. Like, I've been doing so many things over the years, and I put everything there on the page. Like, okay, I can help you grow an audience, help you. I did the SaaS, I built a course, I did an ebook. And I feel like I need to sort of polish it and figure out, okay, the exact person I want to target with this, and the exact thing I will help them with, right? And then once the messaging is more clear, I feel like I can scale it better and make more money from it.
Yeah, but I feel you on that because I also want to start consulting with the same idea, like calls, because I used to do that with SEO, affiliate and SEO, and I loved it because I basically didn't have to prepare anything because I know what I'm talking about. And when someone calls me, there's always this thing of like, he shares his problem, you hear that, you have a solution in your mind because you have the experience, so you know like what this person will go through. You give that, it unlocks something to this person. You see on his face straight away that it was worth it to pay that call. And then the call is over. And I love that. Like, I really loved this package. And now I want to do it again. But the thing is that I'm on the same thing. Is like, I don't even know how to package that because there is so many things I want to help with. Because there is, affiliate, SEO, I can help you with, but there's also audience growing or like building an info product or these kind of things. And I will have absolutely no idea how to package that. So I will start like you maybe, and then we'll see later.
Yeah, I guess. So what I've noticed from doing these calls is that there's not all of them, but like I've seen a pattern emerge from most of the calls, and then slowly that helps me refine the messaging. I've seen like most people were interested in, okay, how can I grow my audience on X or YouTube, even though we talked about something else, but like multiple people asked this question, they were wondering about this. So then I realized, okay, so audience building is an interesting subject for people. All right, maybe I can highlight that more, right?
I mean, you know what you're talking about because, again, you grew an audience on two different platforms, which are like YouTube and X, and they are totally different. So if you did it twice, you know what you're talking about. If it's growing an audience, I would have a call with you for sure. And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it again on Instagram, but I need to be active there. And this time I want to do it right with content plan and a system and all of that. So yeah, and I could do threads as well. I've been thinking because basically threads is like X, but my only like drawback there. So the thing that stops me is that I'll need to be very active on threads as well. So I need to be part of the community. I need to know the people there. I need to engage with their posts. I need to get them to engage with mine. And that's very time consuming, where like I feel like on Instagram or even TikTok, although TikTok is a different beast, but like on Instagram, for example, I feel like if you post good videos, you can grow an audience without having to be necessarily very into the platform, very engaged, because like I feel like on Instagram, people who engage with your videos are not most of them are not video creators, right? They're scrolling there, watching reels over and over, and they leave a comment or like whenever they like something. But when you're on a text-based platform like X or Threads or even LinkedIn, I think, it's much easier to be part of the conversation. It's much easier to write a piece of text, right? So the entry sort of point is much lower. It's easier to write the post than to record a video, right? So that's why I feel like you need to be part of the community there, not just like post and then forget it. I think that could work as well, but yeah.
I could give my experience on Thread. Like I've been using Typefully, and I pushed Rob to put that on Super X as well. But on Typefully, I can just check posting on Thread as well. And I do that every time.
Okay.
And I grew to, I think I'm at 1700 now without doing anything. It just the same post I do
Okay.
on X, I post them on Threads. And pretty often, if something goes viral on X, it will also go viral on Thread. And I feel like Thread is even easier because if you choose a keyword, let's say in the sentence you say indie hackers, it will touch indie hackers. If you say Bali, it will
Okay.
touch people in Bali. So I feel like it's even
Okay.
easier. So yeah, it's you can grow without. I never open Threads, like never. Really, I
Okay.
never answer, I never comment. But just the fact that I post the same content on X grow the audience. And I know that because Mark Lou is doing the same, Jack Freaks is doing
Yeah.
the same. I see them on Thread and they post exactly the same thing and it works. So yeah, can be a good start.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I should do that. I mean, I
Mm.
sometimes I don't use a platform to post my content, but I sometimes, whenever I have something that worked well on X, I copy paste it on LinkedIn and on Threads. Uh, but I haven't seen much success there. But yeah,
Mm.
it's a good thing to consider. Yeah.
I have a question because you often talk about sponsorship. You say that it's like the one that have the best ROI for you. And you also often talk about the fact that you should find the good sponsors and get paid well. So my question is like, let's say my YouTube channel right now, I have like a little bit less than 4,000 subscribers. I make probably an average of 1,000 views per video. How will you find sponsors for that?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's a bit trickier in the beginning. What worked for me in the beginning was like companies were reaching out, and what was funny was that it was companies that had people follow me on X, so they knew me from X, and then they saw me post on YouTube, and then they reached out to me. Okay, hey, I know you from X. Like, would you like to collaborate with us on a YouTube video? Now, it might be a bit trickier at the beginning to get sponsors, but what I would do is plan out a piece of content, like a video or maybe more videos, that will work really well for a certain company. Like, you will plan the video with that company in mind, and then you can pitch it to them, right? And of course, maybe at the beginning you would have to charge less, or you would have to offer something because you don't have trust yet, right? You can't prove that, okay, this will go well. What you can prove is that, okay, look, I'm consistent. I've been posting for months and I plan to do this for months. So one day, that day will come because I'm consistent. When my channel is going to blow up, you'll have this piece of content as well. On YouTube, what's nice is that when your channel grows, it will pretty much pick all your videos and will bring them with you, with the channel growth, So that could work, but you would have to be very intentional about like the sponsor per se. But then if you, another approach would be to just focus on creating great pieces of content, focus on bringing a lot of value to the audience, and then you will be rewarded with views and stuff like that, and your channel will grow. And then you can go to a sponsor and say, hey, look, see, I'm doing a good job here. Would you like to be part of it? And you don't necessarily have to go, but you'll see that companies will start to reach out to you to do it. But the thing is, what I've noticed is that you might not like the companies that come to you. Not all of them. There might be some exceptions, but it's much good for your content for you to select the sponsor, right? To bring something that it's an easy match with whatever you're doing already, right? The trick there is that when you approach a company, you might not get as much money as when they approach you. You have more leverage when they approach you because that they want to work with you. If you go to a company right now, I'm in talks with two companies actually that I like their products, I use their products, and I want like, hey, would you like to sponsor me to create more pieces of content about your product? And they're very picky, to be honest. But when I had some companies who came to me and they paid whatever amount I was asking for, and they were very easy to work with. I had full control over what I was doing. So yeah, it's a mix. I don't think I'm yet in a position where I'm doing the best job at this, but yeah, I'm still going towards that idea. Ideally, what I would like to do is to have like 3, 4, 5 companies that I work with like on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, and I really like the product, use their product, and it's easy integration with my content already. So it's basically more or less free money, not necessarily, but like if you would do the piece of content anyways, just having an integration, it's easy for you, it's a win for them, it's a win for the community because you like the product, you talk about the product, you find it valuable. So that's ideally what I would like to get to one day.
Yeah, that's the next question I wanted to ask you is like, are you looking for monthly, like recurring partnership? And I think that's the goal, is like if you find few products that you love using and you add them, let's say I will have an ad spot in all my podcasts about always the same product because I love them, a little bit like Stephen Bartlett does, for example. He has these few product or even brand that he invested in, and then it's always the ad spot. I think that would be probably the best, actually.
Yep. Yeah, and even for the companies. So some companies, like, they pay you for a post on X or for one video on YouTube, and it doesn't perform well. You cannot guarantee, as a content creator, you cannot guarantee anything. You don't know 100% how that piece of content will work. So the best approach, what I've seen the big companies do, and of course they have the budget, is to sponsor multiple pieces of content, like 3 videos, 5 videos, 10 posts on X, something like that. So because in reality, you can't really have a direct correlation on the ROI for the companies. Like, for example, they pay you, I don't know, $2,000 for a video on YouTube, and you put the link in the description, and you can't really track exactly how much money they made from one piece of content, especially if that piece of content flops or doesn't go well, right? But what I've seen big companies do, or at least companies who are thinking long term, they want to build a brand trust, and they don't really care necessarily how one particular piece of content goes. They want to be everywhere in multiple channels on multiple platforms, and they want to appear in the people's mind often, right? So for example, they see like a user sees them in my video, but then sees them in your podcast, and then sees them on X, and then they sort of create a connection, and okay, this company is something, let me check it out. So that's when the sell happens. You're probably aware of this. There's a saying in sales that you need, like, I don't know, seven calls or something like that to go from not being known to completing the sell, right? It doesn't work with just one email, one piece of content, one video. It has to be done multiple times. So yeah, that's basically how it goes. And regarding your question, yeah, I would like to have a few companies that value my content, value my audience. They have good products that are easy integration to my content, and I can work with on a long term.
I just want to bounce off something, is that it's good for the human side of being often on a single channel, for example. But I feel like companies are spending so much money right now in sponsorship to also rank on LLM. Because if few channels are often using the fact, for example, SuperX is the best scheduling tools for X. And a lot of content creators do videos like that on YouTube. and then people also do blog posts about it, then the LLM will see it everywhere. And then when he will do his research, he will say, well, SuperX is the best scheduler. By the way, it's not sponsored by SuperX at all, but and for the LLM, it works as well. So it's good for the human side, but also good for the LLM. And I feel like a lot of big companies spends a lot of money for that right now as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else. Less fun, but you mentioned burnout. Did you ever want to quit?
No, never really. I mean, I never wanted to go back to being a full-time employee. That's for sure. But yeah, I had burnout many times. And maybe it wasn't always burnout. It was maybe just a way for my body to say, just take a break, idiot. But yeah, I had periods like this. As I said, I never really wanted to quit. I just wanted to find better ways to do what I've been doing to account for these periods of time. Because what I've noticed, how my brain works, is that I have these periods. I'm super productive. I create a lot of content. I have lots of app ideas. I build stuff. I make money. And then I just can't create anymore. And then those periods are tough. Those periods, I hate those periods, to be honest. Because I feel useless. I feel like I don't have a purpose or something. But over time, I got to be more conscious about the way my brain works. I'm still not 100% like accept those periods. I still, as I said, I hate them. But I'm more aware that, hey, it's not the end of the world. Because like first time when it happened, I was like, whoa, what if like I'm not recovering from this? Like what I'm going to do, you know? And then I recovered, and then it happened again, and then I recovered, and it happened again. So now, like right now, for example, I'm in that very productive period where my brain is firing on all cylinders and I have ideas and I want to do that and that. But there's like a little dwarf there in the back of my brain, and it's telling, be aware that, I mean, eventually you'll have to slow down because that's just the way I'm wired. So what are you doing now to prepare for that period, right? To have, going back to the content system, that's a reason that I want to build something. I want to hire people that can work while I'm not like as creative, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I think it's a really good idea. And content creation is really personal. And when it's personal, it's related to your emotion, to your mood. And it's really hard to keep going when you have nothing in your brain, no creativity, nothing. As you say, you feel worthless because you're just like, yeah, I have nothing to share actually, so I will not share. And yeah, it's pretty tough. What makes you keep going?
I mean, at the end of the day, I like what I'm doing. I am very grateful to be in this position that I am. Even though I often forget, I was last time when I had my burnout / take a break period, I was meeting this guy in Bucharest, and we went out for lunch, and he was like, okay, tell me more about what you did. And I started to like tell, okay, I did YouTube, I did X, I built that, I built a course, I mean that. I was like, whoa, like you've did a bunch of things, like wow, that's super cool. How do you feel? And was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay. It just, after that meeting, I was like, wait a second. If you're looking from outside on the things that I did, they're pretty cool, right? But if you're living the life, it's not as cool anymore because you get used to it, you know? You get used to having 200,000 followers. Like, I still remember the day, I mean, the period at the beginning when I had a few hundred followers, I'm like, wow, how would it feel to have thousands and thousands? And now I have that, and I kind of often forget how it felt back then, you know? But yeah, it's it's good to be aware of what you did and keep going, because I really like this. So the periods I'm very active and I build stuff, I really enjoyed it. I enjoy being part of the community. I liked people here. I think I spend 90%. The people I talk to every day are 90% people I met on X, right? So it's part of my life now. So yeah, that's what keeps me going.
What will Florin from 2018 say to you now if he sees your life?
It's a good question. I guess he'll be proud. And he'll say that I have the feeling that he'll do it. So I'm very happy that you did. That will be part of it. And other part maybe will be, hey, you could have done much better. Probably not. That's just my part now. I guess it will be proud. It will be proud to see that the things that I thought back then, they happened. At the scale, at the scale I couldn't imagine back then.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I think he will be proud. If you could only give like one piece of advice of someone starting right now on X or YouTube who wants to share something, create content, doesn't know where to start, what would you say?
Find what you like and do it consistently. You have to like it so you can do it for a long time, and you have to do it consistently for it to pay off at one time. Yeah.
It's a perfect way to end this conversation. I really loved it, and thanks for your time. I'm sure people will get a lot of insight from it. So thanks again, Florin.
Thanks for having me. It was very fun talking with you.